Got me coffee. I fucking swallowed an ice cube. Buenos dias, gente. ¿Qué pasó? How you doing? How it be? Oh my god, I disappeared and now I'm back. Stuck for me. I always tell people, I'm like a fucking seagull. The second you feed me, fucking stuck with me. Fucking stuck with me, honestly. Fiddler on the roof. Fiddler on the roof. I'm excited for this one. Got my cafe, microphone. Also learning Spanish. Relearning Spanish if you couldn't tell. Enjoying it. If you couldn't tell. My favourite word so far? Coño. We know. Yesterday, I had the pleasure of going to see Fiddler on the Roof at the Barbican Centre, and oh my fucking god, that was loud. I went in blind to Fiddler on the Roof. I knew nothing about it, much to the shock and horror of the lady that I made friends with before the show. She was very adamant and very like, oh, how have you not seen them film? Blah, 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 blah. She was like, oh, you're gonna love it. She was right. She was on something. Shout out to that lady. Love her. Love her. Queen. So apparently I'm the only fucking person in the entire world that at least didn't, now does. Educated. At least now knows about Fiddler on the Roof. Before, I knew nothing. If there's anyone like me who doesn't, let's just do a little synopsis. Let's just have a little read. It's 1905 in the tiny village of Anatevka, where Tevye, a Jewish milkman, lives his life by their proud traditions. For his 5 daughters, that means a visit from the matchmaker. But as each daughter challenges his beliefs against the backdrop of a changing world, can Tevye hold on to his roots, or must he bend to the will of his children and learn to embrace the unfamiliar? Taking that straight from a website, if you couldn't tell. So central to this story is the character of Tevye, the patriarch of this family and a key figure in the village of Anatevka. And the show is all about exploring themes of tradition versus change, generational conflict between Tevye and his daughters. 5 of them, Jesus Christ. It's also about the power of women with that and coming into their own minds and their own beliefs and challenging Tevye, who is stuck in his ways or what he believes tradition should be, to provide structure and stability and safety, and how he is challenged and maybe needs to accept that tradition should go alongside progress in order to thrive. This production is part of the last theatre season, originally being staged at Regent's Park Open Air Theatre, where it was nominated for a whopping 13 Olivier Award nominations, which I believe, yeah, it does. It makes it the most nominated production for the Oliviers in history, joint only with one thing, Hamilton. But it does make it the most nominated of any British production, which is incredible. It ended up winning 3 out of these, and those were for Best Musical Revival, Best Set Design, and Best Sound Design. Best Musical Revival, that was always a shoo-in. And the Best Set Design by Tom Scott, who is on a fucking roll recently, because he is also the set designer for Cabaret at the Kit Kat Club, both at the Playhouse Theatre, now Kit Kat Club, as well as the August Wilson Theatre in New York. This production runs at the Barbican until the 19th of July of this year, before commencing a UK tour from the 24th of July all the way through to January 2026. If you can catch it, fucking catch it. It's the shit. Now, from what I understand, there have been some changes between the Regent's Park production and this production. I was not fortunate enough to be able to see it last summer. I wish I had, but I'm incredibly grateful for being able to see it at the Barbican this summer. And you can tell it's summer because it's fucking hot, honestly. Calor. Got me coffee. I fucking swallowed an ice cube. She's nothing if not professional, honestly. One really positive change that feels like it came from this transfer to the Barbican is with the set design. Set design is incredible. This is some of Tom Scott's best work. Second only to Cabaret, because I adore that production of Cabaret. I could talk about that for fucking hours, but I won't. No one deserves to go through that. No one deserves to go through that. No one deserves to go through me talking about hours of anything. So the opening moments of the show depict the fiddler himself on the roof before it slowly raises up to reveal the village of Anatevka, and it is incredible to see. I had like a side partial view because that's the only way I can afford to see this shit. And I was really nervous at first. I'm like, oh fuck, I can't see it, and then suddenly, sorted, fucking sorted. Tom Scott's incredible staging is complemented so brilliantly by the lighting. I was a little surprised that this did not win its nomination for Best Lighting Design in a Musical. However, from my understanding, at Regent's Park, they're obviously a bit constricted with being an outdoor theatre. In this indoor space, there are some incredible stark lighting moments. The lighting design by Aideen Malone in this is just really something to marvel at and has some of my favourite lighting moments, possibly from anything I've ever seen. Usually, I don't pay too much attention to lighting. Sue me. But this was truly gorgeous. Gorgeous to look at visually, and it's clearly taken so much of the direction and the material into consideration when doing this. And the result of that has been something truly marvelous and a spectacle to look at, and at times absolutely haunting to watch. But you love to see it anyway. On the note of direction, this is staged so beautifully by Jordan Fine, soon to direct Into the Woods at the Bridge Theatre, which I'm so excited for. Into the Woods is my favourite Sondheim show, possibly my favourite show. Jordan Fine previously worked as associate director on the recent revival of Cabaret. So, the man's got some credits. So I'm so excited for Into the Woods. But I'm talking about Fiddler, so shut the fuck up. One of my favourite moments from the show comes right at the end. Skip ahead 30 seconds if you don't want spoilers, but apparently everyone and their nan knows the plot of Fiddler on the Roof other than me, so is as the members of this village have gone through these forced displacement and are each leaving one by one. The dialogue only permits to show the family that we've been following for so long leaving and how they're going to be going to America and how some daughters are going somewhere, some are going somewhere else. And as this conversation is happening in the background, we see each of these separate ensemble characters that we've met throughout the way turn around to show them leaving the village and having to leave their homes. And it is such a poignant moment. And then we see them all leave the stage before eventually coming back on and crossing behind as they leave inside. My son of a... As we eventually see them crossing behind the... Oh my... As they then return onto the stage, past the... As they then return onto... Fuck it, we're not doing it. I don't care. As they each return onto the stage in a line, leaving one by one past the band in the background. It is a haunting moment and so poignant. It is this theme in the writing and in the story which really exemplifies why Fiddler, as a story and as a book, have really stood the test of time. You know, it's something so poignant and can be applied to so many situations. This is not stuck with one generation. This is multi-generational, poignant right now with everything happening in Gaza. We also have these themes of generational conflict and how Tevye and his wife Golde they've shaped their daughters, been trying to enforce these traditions and raising their daughters. Of course, they've shaped them in that way, but now that these daughters are coming into their own and becoming their own people, their own women, they are now shaping their parents right back, showing too that embracing change is a good thing and that sure, tradition may provide stability and continuity, but it does not provide progress. It is nothing without progress. Something really honed in on this production specifically is the need to allow space on both sides of any argument to absorb and to listen. And there is nothing more dangerous than working in absolutes, both for tradition and for mindless change. The classic text written by Joseph Stein still holds up as some of the funniest stuff, given the themes and the source material ever written. It is genuinely hilarious at times, and then poignant and depressing and earth-shattering the next. A really great narrative device used throughout is Tevye being able to address the audience and express his inner monologue through him speaking to God and explaining how he's feeling and why, like asking God, why is he testing him this way? Why are his daughters choosing these various partners and lifestyles that he is not at all accustomed to and does not at all agree with? I was fortunate to see Matthew Woodyat as Tevye at this performance because I went during a midweek matinee, who is the alternate Tevye, and before taking over for the UK tour after this run at the Barbican, which finishes July 19th. Matthew's interpretation of Tevye is something of art. It is incredible. His comedic timing with the funnier moments, his vocals, his everything about him, even just in his mannerisms. It's just so well thought out and so evident the work that has been put into this interpretation and into this character that there is nobody who is better suited to take over the role of Tevye full time when this goes on tour. Another big standout performance for me was Daniel Crickler as Perchik, who just, the second that he entered this story, he just breathed life into the material, into this village. This is a character that turns this entire village on our heads, as well as the audience on our heads completely. And he is so charming and has such a wit to his interpretation. His movement and his vocals are just so amazing and have such charm and whimsy to them. It's hard to not immediately be like, this is my guy. This is the one. This is the one. And there are so many songs in this show that I didn't even realize were from this show. Absolute classics that I know, and I'm not sure how I know them, but I know them. Matchmaker, Matchmaker, Make Me a Match. Real, first of all, I could do a match. Hinge ain't cutting it, shockingly. If I Were a Rich Man, of course, as well as the classic To Life, To Life, L'Chaim to Life. This is the sort of show that I would recommend everyone to see. Because like I said, this is something that transcends generation and background and culture. There is something that everyone can resonate with this story. Whether it's generational differences or cultural differences, there is always something with this material that people are able to resonate with. And this production just takes it to a whole new level, and it is genuinely incredible. And this is something that will resonate with so many different people at so many different points in time in their life as well, both on a personal level and with the political issues happening all over the world right now. This is something so poignant and something that really resonated with me, and something that I would definitely recommend anyone to catch on to. Right, we've listened to me make a fool of myself long enough, and I can hear the neighbour suddenly trying to practice their harmonica, which is just great for me. So I'm gonna wrap this the fuck up. That harmonica's winding me the fuck up. So anyway, adios, buenos noches. She says I've been recording for 30 minutes since I said buenos dias. So, yeah.